Andrew, first off, Harry Edwards, how's he tracking? Are you expecting to play this week?
Look, he's got to get through training. So there's still a few more hurdles that Harry has to get through today. We'll be clearer after this training session. Hopeful, but we'll wait and see.
They've announced they're playing Croft as well. Sounds like it's going to be a pretty big forward line for them. How do you look to curtail that, or is it about ball movement? It's a tough situation.
Oh, it's a big challenge with the Dogs. It's probably one of the most potent forward lines in the game, particularly their tools. So all of it, as usual, will come down to how much pressure we can get on the ball. If they get pretty clear supply, I think their guys will be dangerous and probably put on a big score. But if we can get the right pressure on the ball and our numbers in the right space, we might be able to defend them and make a real game of it.
You speak about that pressure on the ball. You obviously had it at the weekend. How do you ensure that it returns this weekend and that there's no complacency or pats on the back for what was a good job though at the weekend?
Yeah, it's a good call. We spoke about that in our review on Monday. That yes, it was a good defensive effort, but that is now our baseline. Has to be our baseline to be able to compete at AFL football. So I think the beauty now is we've seen evidence that the players can do it, and the challenge is now it's how do you replicate that every game, and it'll take 23 players like it does every week. So we'll train it strongly today and look to replicate that performance.
Do you give Ruben another big task? He did a job on Jeremy Cameron for 3.5 quarters of a game. Do you give him Sam Darcy?
Which big task do you reckon he should get? Because the reality is they're both in great form, Norton and Darcy. Big threats, and Ruben will get one of those guys. So we'll work through what it looks like. Haven't finalised that yet, but as you guys know, Rubes will be licking his lips at that challenge.
No disrespect to Ruben, but they're quite tall compared to him, and their athleticism when they're quite tall makes it quite hard for a guy like Ruben. How does he have to handle that compared to a Jeremy Cameron, who's probably more his size and strength and different, more compatible players?
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of what Rubes can do. I think Thilthorpe might be about 10 centimetres taller than him. So the challenges we've asked Rubes to do is tall, small, medium, fast, strong, all types of challenges. And because of his athletic profile, he's able to play on most. So he's not going to get everything perfect, and he's a young man still growing his football game. So the expectation on him to get these jobs done every week is probably unrealistic, but he keeps proving that wrong and doing a good job and fighting really hard for his teammates. So, we'll look forward to whatever matchup it ends up being.
What sort of asset do you reckon that can be long term for you, having a potential fullback who's still got that athleticism to give you other strengths in your game?
Yeah, I think it's a modern game. I really do. I think that's where the modern games, like if you don't have athleticism as a key position player, it's a really difficult game to play. So I think it's trending that way. Some of the best key defenders in the game have the best endurance. That's traits of a great key defender. So that's what Ruben ticks off as well. So that's where I can see him having a long future there.
Obviously Duggan's out. How much of a sort of reshuffle does that cause, and who do you bring in?
Yeah, it's Duggo's been so reliable for us, played the whole year. Under duress at times, he's been really brave and tough, so disappointing, and we'll miss him. But like all year when we've lost our leaders, it provides opportunity for somebody else. So we'll clearly have to replace somebody in the back line. We'll work our way through that. We've got guys who have played throughout the year, and some waffle guys as well. So we'll get through training today and then look to finalise the team after that.
Just 2 leadership group members remaining in a very young squad already. What sort of unique challenge does that present in terms of just on-field leadership?
Yeah, it's the cursed leadership group, isn't it? I think I spoke about this a few weeks ago. It puts a big onus on those 2 leaders, but the expectation is everyone has to be a leader in a team, and we have opportunity for some of our young players to be exposed to have to do leadership on field. So we've got young players who will be great leaders. They're on our list currently. They just need some experience and it'll take some time. But there's some characteristics that some of our players have that will ensure they become great leaders.
How have the young guys gone when they've been filtering through those leadership meetings?
Yeah, they've loved it. It's been a good experience for them. They're learning a lot about different parts of the football club, which is what leadership groups do, and they're getting a look at something they may not have had a look at without the challenges we've had this year. So look at it as a good opportunity for them.
This is a big picture one for you with 2 games to go. What are the big areas of progress that you'd reflect on for the group this year?
Yeah, look, I think we've made some. The year has ebbed and flowed clearly with our performance. I think we had start of the year was really poor. Then we had a really probably 10 to 12 week period, which was strong, and we built our game, dropped for a month, and then we saw a better performance on the weekend. So we haven't been able to win many games of football. But within that, we've had great growth in our system, our belief of the way we're going about things. And we talk to our players, and I'm actually really bullish on particularly our young group. I think we've got a core of what will be here for a long period of time and drive us towards success in the future. The challenge at the moment is we've just been young and haven't been able to do it for 4 quarters of football. So there's been some great growth in our young guys, and look forward to their future.
The midfield in particular, with the amount of numbers that you've run through there, have you learnt a lot about the group and how it's going to look next year?
Yeah. Look, I think all year I've spoken about, I've got no idea what round 1 next year will look like. And I'm getting a clearer picture, but I'm still not certain. We have played a lot of guys through our midfield through necessity. It's just been a challenge of our makeup this year. But within that, we've found some players. Like even Tom McCarthy going through the midfield last week. Elijah Hewitt, like he hasn't played much football before this year. He's now can play multiple roles in an AFL team. You saw Harley grow his game throughout the rest of this year as well. Tim Kelly's found his magic again, playing some good football. Jack Graham's gone through there. There's lots of guys we've seen that will be here for a period of time in the future that will help us go forward.
Speaking of Harley, he's obviously come back from being in Victoria for a little bit. Have you got a clearer picture about his future here at the moment?
Yeah, I'm really confident Harley will be here. So we're working, he's invested. I've spoken about this all along. Like every day Harley turns up to work, he's incredibly invested in this team, this club. So yeah, I'm really optimistic that Harley will be here. Love working with him and hopefully we'll work with him for a long time to come.
What about Oscar? Have you spoken to him and are you any clearer about where he'll be next year?
Yeah, so we speak to Oscar regularly. We're in contact, we're working with Oscar's management. We're still not clear where it'll be, but we're working really hard to try and make Oscar a player here for a long time.
How hard is that though as the coach? Like you're speaking about next year, the realism of it is you've got to concentrate on Sunday, but you've also got to concentrate on the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Not knowing that your co-captain is going to be here or somewhere else.
Yeah, not even about the co-captain being here or not. It's like the job of a coach is 2 eyes on the present and 1 eye on the future. So I don't know how many eyes you got, but I think that somehow you've got to be able to do that as a coach and list manager. That's the job. You have to be able to forecast, but you have to live in the present as well. So that's what football clubs are about, and we'll work our way through that.
When you're talking about you're optimistic Harley will be here, you're just talking about next year when he's contracted, or are you talking even beyond that?
Yeah, I'm talking for a long time. Yeah.
Well, what sort of signs is he giving you that's looking good at the moment?
Well, all I can judge on his behaviours that he comes in and does every day at the football club. And I've spoken about this a lot, that the young man is really invested. He's working hard to make us become better, to get himself better. He cares about the group, cares about the club. So there's signs that point to me that he's really invested.
When you guys sit down as a club and you see like reports coming in of other clubs offering 25 mil to him, what goes through your mind at that point?
Yeah, honestly, I don't read any of it. I really don't. And I'm not being disrespectful to anyone, but I think at the moment it's clear in our industry there's so many rumours and speculation that go on. If you get yourself caught up in it, you're in a tiz. So I understand there's always stories and things to write, but we're pretty focused on what we're doing internally at the moment.
There's a lot of people who ask the question, are players worth $2 million a year? Elite A-grade players. What's your opinion on that?
Honestly, I sort of don't understand the question because it's all relative. I think the understanding of the soft cap and the TPP of where it's at, money's different to what it used to be. When I played, I've spoken about this, I got paid $48,000. So if you ask me, would I have taken $2 million? The answer is yes, I would have. Was I worth it? No. I think that's pretty obvious. But I think that's just where the game's trending. It's going up. It'll happen eventually. Someone will be that player, and there was a time when no one was $1 million player, and that broke a record. So that'll just be what happens, and it'll keep moving like that in the future. You
spoke before about Duggan, someone coming in for him. Tom McCarthy played midfield at the weekend. Do you look to move him back to halfback to settle that role again, or do you like what you saw enough to keep him there?
Yeah, it's one of our options for sure, but probably after the way T-Mac played last week, we'd be pretty keen to keep pursuing him in the midfield role. He does give us a real point of difference, Tom. His run, work rate and the way he uses the ball. So that'll be a discussion this Savo, but it's probably going to be hard to rest of the midfield coaches to get him out of there at the moment.
Unfortunately, you've lost Archer Reid. Your tools, the situation at the moment, that's probably where you're being hit the most. And how do you look to restructure that? Is Bailey just an automatic in, or do you go a bit smaller? How do you look to do that, especially with Tim English as the ruckman?
Yeah, it's a challenge. And probably just with Joe being the only one tall left, it would be hard to just play one tall with an 18, 19-year-old man in your forward line as well as Job is going. So we'll play a tall and we'll just decide who that is. Whether it's Bailey or Jack Williams or Cohen Livingston, we'll try and train today and pick the best available.
Just off the back of Schmooky's big picture, Peter Bell has suggested that you guys should over-invest in development coaches because of the young profile of your group. Is that something you've discussed with sort of the bosses and sort of exceeding the TPP and incurring that cost to fast-track some of these kids?
Yeah, I actually think there's a study done a few years ago. I should be wary quoting this, so don't quote me on it, but you're going to, so I know how this works. I actually think there was a time where more coaches is not actually beneficial to more success. It doesn't line up like that. It's about getting the right people in the right jobs. So that's our mindset, is we don't just want more. We want the right people in the right jobs.
Ryan Marrick had the corky, how's he travelling?
Yeah, he's doing okay. He's progressing well. He'll do some training today and we're hopeful that he'll get up.